right, it's 11 o'clock. We're kicking off a special 2-hour oil stream to keep the conversation going on the Stuart Skinner trade. Feel free to chime in, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Jamie McLennan's going to join us right off the top here. I think Tommy Gazzola is going to hop on from home around 11:45. Oh, yes. Noodles says, I might have to drop on a few minutes late. I'm getting on a plane. I need to be in my seat first. Another plane hit from Jamie McLennan. Perfect. All right, so Noodles is going to join us. He's going to be hopping on the plane. Trev is going to be with me as well. So myself, YouTube, Trev, Tommy will probably hop on a little bit later on. Jamie McLennan will be up right away as well. Hashtag justice for the lock shop. Don't get me wrong. I love the lock shop. But we had to do this today. This is a massive day for the Edmonton Oilers. So yeah, we're going to keep the conversation rolling here all throughout the next couple of hours. Your thoughts on it, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Amos Moses is in. I don't know if they hit this at the end of the hangout, but if Jarry versus Skinner happens next week, I call 7-6 Oilers. Win it in overtime. All joking aside, best of luck to both men. Yeah, we'll see how it sorts out. I'm interested to see what Jamie McLennan has to say about Tristan Jarry. Like, we know Stuart Skinner. Noodles knows Stuart Skinner. Trev, yeah, you fire that mic up right now. We'll get you. Trev will be joining us on set when we're done with Noodles here. Hey, I'm very interested to see what Noodles has to say about Tristan Jarry.
It'll be good. Yeah. No, his insight is always right up there with the best of the best. That's where I'm curious as well. Like, I think I know why he was sent down last year was because of his play. You know, has that changed? What's he looked like so far this year? I've seen lots of comments on Twitter, Dusty, saying, "Oh, like, you think Stuart Skinner's bad? Wait till you see Tristan Jarry." So,
yeah,
you know,
like, wow.
I see that and my eyebrows raise even more, right? So is that legit? Are people just being trolls? I don't know, but I do know Jamie McLennan is not a troll, and he'll be able to provide some very good insight on the newly acquired Tristan Jarry.
Yeah, Noodles should have a pretty good read on what they are getting here. Jimmy Anishi says, what was the Play Alberta money line for Skinner being traded? I mean, timing-wise, I'm not too sure what that would have been. Noodles says, I'm Del Griffith right now. Great Planes, Trains, Automobiles reference. From Columbus to Chicago to Minneapolis. Columbus to Chicago was canceled. It's a circus, right? Man, this guy, he is all over the place. That's a tough look. I'm not sure what that number would have been, but I probably would have. I mean, I sprinkle most things, so I probably would have sprinkled, but that probably would have been as far as I would have gone on that front. All right, so we have a 2-hour oil stream special. I just want to keep your reaction going to this. This is obviously a massive deal. I'm trying to think if is this deal even bigger than we're treating it today, or is this deal not as big as we are treating it today? It's pretty significant. People have been talking for a long time. The Oilers got to get a goalie. Oilers got to get a goalie. Oilers got to get a goalie. Well, not only did they get a goalie, they got a goalie with 2 more years term that's making over $5 million, so it's got to work. So 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Let's keep things rolling along for the next couple of hours. I will tweet out our NFL picks later today from both Huss and I. So you will get your NFL picks a little bit later on, but this is a pretty crazy day, man. Stan Bowman, and we do have Bowman. Maybe we'll get to Bowman a little bit later on as well. I know they play Bowman on the hangout, but we might revisit it in the noon hour today and get into that a little bit as well. All right, let's keep the text reaction coming in. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. If for some reason you were just joining us or you were listening to other shows that were talking about other things, Oilers trade Skinner, Kulak, and a second in 29. Tristan Jarry, Sam Poulin, and then they get Spencer Stastny for a 3rd-round pick in 2027. There's a lot of different questions we can look at here. Overall, with the loss of Kulak to what Bowman kind of laid out could be sort of a younger version of Kulak. But for right now, the loss of Kulak compared to what we're going to see from Stastny, we don't know yet. Bit of a mystery. Kind of intrigued by it. And then the switch between the pipes. Is this team better? Kulak's out. Skinner's out. Jarry's in. and Stastny's in. Somebody in the chat, I think Andrew the accountant texted it in a little bit earlier, said that Stastny and Emberson were D partners in the U.S. development program.
It's news to me.
I'm pretty sure I saw that.
There.
Yeah.
Okay.
RCN says this deal would make more sense if Jarry had no term. Yeah, like the actual terms of it, I think I would probably agree with you on that. Like, to me, looking at it, if you're looking at this from outside the market, right, you're looking at it and you're looking at what Pittsburgh just did. And this is why I think, yeah, there might be some people in Pittsburgh who are freaking out, but I think people outside of the market are viewing this as a win for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Because the Pittsburgh Penguins already have a couple of goalies, a couple of younger guys that I think will be the future there. They couldn't get anybody to take Jarry last year. Now you're getting out of him. You're not having to retain on him. You're moving him on because he's had a nice start to this year. You're getting a pick. You're getting a goalie that is a UFA if you don't like him. He just walks in the offseason. You still got your other two young guys anyway. And, I mean, unless the Penguins remain in the playoff hunt, they're moving Kulak at the deadline for probably a second as well. So, not like if they were in a situation where they wanted to unload Tristan Jarry, they did pretty good in this deal. The Edmonton Oilers need to get a different look between the pipes, paid a little bit more of a price to do it, but also moved a couple of guys that who knows how much they're going to want in the offseason. Maybe you weren't bringing them back anyway as well. What it does do is it takes away any flexibility you have in the offseason as far as a starting goaltender goes. Jarry's going to be your guy. As far as a backup goes, that'll be addressed in the offseason. Picker's an unrestricted free agent. By all accounts, he's an amazing dude, but it's time to move on and find a different backup goaltender in the offseason. So there's lots to discuss here. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Jamie McLennan will hopefully join us from a plane. I don't know who's calling me right now. Why would they not know that I'm on the air? Can't be that important a call, I think. Yeah, I don't know. We'll worry about it later. All right, let's get to some of your text messages here. Maybe Bowman thinks the successor to Jarry is in the system and will be ready at the end of Jarry's current contract. Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility. With the Janssen kid, couple levels down, but you still need a backup for the next. And you look, to me, you need an upgrade at backup. Simply because if Jarry gets hurt, you're just straight up rolling Pickard now, and Jarry has been more susceptible to injury in his career than I believe Stuart Skinner it has. 780-218-9999 is where you can get in.
I'll come pop a squat until.
Yeah. Slide on over here till Noodles hops in. Yeah, of course. And then we're going to. Every move Bowman makes is related to how good this team can be by the end of 97's contract. They need to be contenders, younger, and have cap flexibility. The moves today follow that plan. Well, they're not younger. They're older between the pipes. Now, at the end of McDavid's contract, if they move on to somebody else or have another goalie from within the system, they can. But technically, they're older in net today than they were. Luke from Leduc texts in and says, do you think Ingram comes into play for Pickard at some point? Probably too early to actually make an accurate guess on that one. I thought that maybe you'd get a look at Ingram before a trigger was pulled on any trade, just to save assets if that's what you felt. Obviously, he was not anywhere near the level that he needed to be to get called up and thrown into the mix here right now, but
Dustin, 1 2 1 2.
Hi, Trev.
Oh, what's up, Dustin?
How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I feel great. How are you?
Welcome to the desk.
Yeah, let's go.
Da, 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 da.
I'm so much more comfortable here. Like when I talk, I don't know. There's something about it.
Really? Then sitting over there?
Then my thoughts, I don't know what it is. I feel like my thoughts, I just can't think there. They're just enclosed, but here, it's just wide open. I don't know. Something about it. But holy crap, it happened. Can you believe it? Reed Wilkins, can you believe it?
Yeah, hard to believe.
It's hard to believe.
Scott, Hotel Balcony in Beaumont, says, now Trev has the best stash in Edmonton. And Jimmy O is wondering, is it time for YouTube Trev to shave the stash and just go from being Stuart Skinner to being Cody Fajardo?
Okay, that's funny, actually. LT and I, because, we have our Christmas mixer tonight, which I cannot wait for, but it's been tradition the last 2 years that I go over to his place for some pre-drinks.
To LTE's place before,
But he was telling me, he's like, I'm shaving it off tonight.
He's shaving your stash off tonight?
He's like, I'm just going to shave it off. I'm like, no, you're not. He's like, I'm shaving it off. The first thing I do when you come in the door is I'm shaving it off. I'm like, no. So, yeah, obviously Stuart Skinner is no surprise. He had the best, without a doubt, the best mustache, probably not just in Edmonton, but in the entire NHL. No, I got, that's one thing there's a few things in my opinion that's nice about moving on from Stuart Skinner. And now now it's just, I don't have to hear that anymore. I'll just be, hey, nice mustache you got there.
What a monumental day here. I'm going to read a Chief Andy message on YouTube.
What?
Chief Andy, this is good. Now if McDavid and Draisaitl have an emotional hug, one of them will be traded. LOL.
Oh,
right, because of the hug there and everything.
Crazy, man.
That does make sense.
Yep. So man.
So you've had 3 hours now. This broke at around 8:00. Where are you at right now on this deal?
Where am I at right now? Lots of feelings, lots of emotions. I mean, it's tough. Like, this is why it's tricky, trying to be a professional here. Like, don't let my emotions get... But at the same time, I moved to Edmonton as a fan, and I can't help but think, like, I don't know, the first point of view I always go to is, as a fan, like, how would fans think? How do I think? And... I'm happy. Like, I'm happy. I am happy that the Oilers did eventually move on from Stuart Skinner. I think it's only, you can only give this guy so many goes, cracks at the can, and they've done that. Excuse me. The thing that I'm most disappointed at, is just the failure of the organization to realize that he, at the end of the day, was not the guy. Like
earlier, they've obviously identified it now.
Yeah,
but
and that's what I'm saying. I wish they would have come to the point a long time ago. And we'll see where Stuart Skinner is in a year. We'll see, how does he do this year? And I don't know. I don't like management going about things with, we'll see how it goes. I want management going about things like, no, like, I know Stuart Skinner is the guy. I know he's going to take them to the promised land. I know he's going to be a legit number one starter in the NHL in 2 years, not just some fringe goalie, just up and down goalie. And that's the thing. I said it. I know I've been pretty vocal. I've been pretty critical on Stuart Skinner's play ever since. Well, he's donned the orange and blue. I thought it was pretty hopeful. His first year when he was a Rookie of the Year candidate. He was a Calder Trophy finalist. But for me personally, there was always just something lacking, and I think it just comes down to consistency. And I don't know. I just the fact that he's the guy, and then 3 years later, he's not the guy. Like, I just hate that. And what does that lead to? Well, it leads to missed opportunities getting better goalies, and that's where we're at right now. The Oilers acquire Tristan Jarry, who's still, at the end of the day. Is he an upgrade? I think so, but I'm not gung-ho about this guy. Like, yeah, the Oilers got their guy. They got a goalie. He's not the goalie. He's not the answer. He's not.
Well, kind of better be.
And that's the thing. And that's why it's the frustrating part. So I'm happy that they were able to finally move on from Stuart Skinner. They finally realized that it didn't work out. It never was going to work out, in my opinion. But think of the goalies, maybe you could have gotten over the last few years. And especially now, you have to pay, I wouldn't say an arm and a leg, but you have to send out assets to a team that's just laughing right now. Because this time last year, Tristan Jarry was sent down to the minors. I don't like that at all, man. Like, as a fan, that ticks me off. Like what are you doing? Like, how do you not try to get this guy? Like, if this is the guy that you're actually intrigued about, like, like, why don't you make that? You should know, as management, you should know that a year ago. You should. And here we are, and you have to pay assets for it. And at the end of the day, he still has a big question mark over his head. So that's my thoughts.
All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Hoping to connect with Noodles. He texted me 11:06, said he might be, I would say, any update here. We'll see. We'll hopefully get him on. Tommy Gazzola is going to join us here as well. So I wanted to look at, because Stuart Skinner would have been an unrestricted free agent.
Yeah.
So you go, okay, well, the Oilers can change things between the pipes in the offseason. If they just want to move on from Stuart Skinner, they can move on from Stuart Skinner. Okay, so I've got all of the unrestricted free agent goaltenders in front of me here for this upcoming offseason. Okay, so instead of going through another year of Skinner in the playoffs and Skinner and that, instead of going through that and then waiting and maybe re-signing him or going after another free agent, they did decide to go and get Tristan Jarry, who's under contract for 2 years. And now, could there be a backup here that they could still... Noodle says it'd be good in 3 minutes.
Okay.
Is there a backup here that they could still add? So here are the list of unrestricted free agent goaltenders at the end of this season, including Stuart Skinner. Sergei Bobrovsky, it's not going to be in the conversation. Mrazek, Laurent Brossoit, Freddie Anderson, not going to be a backup situation. Cam Talbot, Nedeljkovic, Jonathan Quick, Vanasek, obviously Pickard is in there as well. Eric Comrie, Tarasov in Florida. He's Bob's backup this year. He's an unrestricted free agent as well. Devin Cooley having a good stint down in Calgary right now. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year as well. And then that guy who's absolutely lighting it up in Carolina, Bussy, he's an unrestricted free agent as well. So is there an upgrade on Calvin Pickard in there somewhere from a backup perspective? Maybe if you like Nedeljkovic, Cam Talbot, final lap as a backup. If he wants to take, he's making 2.5 right now. You go less there. Look at this guy's back on a plate again. We're going to get to Jamie McLennan in just a moment as the Edmonton Oilers pull the trigger on the deal. The other trade they made, they sent a 3rd-round pick in 2027 for Spencer Stastny. We are here. There are almost 900 of you over on YouTube right now live, so hit us up in the chat. I promise you'll get to the chat. You can text us at 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. This is a good text. This is the first time they've ever texted in. Thank you for texting. Thank you for being here. Tell your friends that you can stream the show or wherever you find it. It says, are you concerned about Jarry performing under added pressure? That's one of the things we're going to get to with Noodles is... Stuart Skinner's got 50 games of playoff experience. Tristan Jarry has 8. I mean, is that something that you would weigh when you're making a deal like this? Do we have Noodles? What happened to him? Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. What is this guy doing right now? All right, should we go to him?
I would wait probably.
Okay. Oh, he's putting his stuff up. That's what he's doing. Okay, he's putting his stuff up. Okay. He's in another premium seat there, isn't he? Let's go to Jamie McLennan. He's somewhere in the world. I actually, from all of his texts, I still don't know technically where he is. Noodles, where are you right now, buddy?
I'm in Chicago.
Okay.
And getting on a plane to Minneapolis. But the problem is I was flying from Columbus to Chicago to Minneapolis this morning, and I was asleep on the plane, and they woke me up and said, get off the plane because there's a broken part.
Oh, no. That's what it is?
Flight canceled. Had to get on a different flight. I'm Del Griffith right now. It's planes, trains, and automobiles right now. The Gong Show.
Well, pretty big trade here. After Skinner played pretty well last night against Detroit, they win the game. They trade him. They trade Kulak today. They both go to Pittsburgh. And they bring in Tristan Jarry. And let's just, people have been wanting to know your thoughts on Tristan Jarry, Jamie. What are the Oilers getting here? How much better or how much different is he than Stuart Skinner?
I think the word is different. There's a different style. He's more athletic. I think he's got a cleaner butterfly. So when you look at it, his style might suit the Oilers. Now, I'm going to warn people early on.
Okay.
Keep in mind, his new environment, he's got to learn to play with new new systems, new everything, right? You might be familiar with the city of Edmonton, which is great, but he's not familiar with the way that Edmonton plays hockey. So I think, the people thinking there's a savior coming, what they needed was a different style of goaltender. He's a good goaltender. Don't get me wrong. I believe he has more upside than Stu Skinner. But that's not a slight on Stu Skinner. Stu Skinner is exactly, he's a predictable player. He's big, covers a lot of net, uses his size to his advantage. With Jarry, he's a little bit more athletic in the net. I think he's got better feet and better hands. And he handles the puck very well, a lot like Stu. But it's just a different style. He's got a cleaner butterfly. He can move side to side, a little bit more fluent. And that might suit the Edmonton Oilers the way they defend. So I even if you view it as a lateral move, I think it might be a move that was probably needed when you look at it. And Stan Bowman was consistent with his comments. He said he was going to look at the goaltending position and change it at some point. He did. So I don't think he's done, to be honest, guys. I think by the deadline, you might see Connor Ingram in the net at some point as well.
I think you're going to get a look at him before they try to upgrade Pickard. Don't you think? That just makes sense.
I agree. Well, I think Calvin Pickard's very well liked, but keep in mind, I think you've got Pickard's replacement in the system already. And that's where you've got depth in that position now. That's the way I look at it. So now Pickard is proven NHL goaltender, but you've also got his potential replacement right there. You've got brought in Jarry now. You might almost have the Colorado model at some point here, just what they did last year.
Yeah.
But and lost in all this too, Kulak. I watched Nashville play the other day, and drawing a blank on his name because I've been just on a plane.
Spencer Stastny.
It's okay.
It's okay if you didn't remember him right off the bat. But what'd you think?
No, but the Stastny kid, I like him he's a good skater. Yeah. He's basically a younger Kulak. Okay. That's the way I look at it. So you've got an opportunity here to kind of turn over some of the D. You brought in Regula, Emberson from last year. Now you need your top four to be healthy. I'm talking about Jake Wallman, but it is a different look. It might seem like it's a little bit of a gamble right now, but I think you're looking for the bigger picture. You've still got plenty of season left to let this all shake out. And I don't think he's done, to be honest. I think he's still looking at forwards to try and bring in. But it's a significant move today. And on paper, I like the move because I like Tristan Jarry, and I've always liked him. I've been consistent with my narrative. I like the skill set there. The one thing that concerns me is his durability.
Yeah,
Stu's a durable goaltender.
Yeah.
So there's a risk because if this guy gets here and he's tweaks a groin or is not able to play, then you are dealing with Ingram and Pickard moving forward. So there is some risk.
Noodles, you mentioned how there are different styles of goaltenders.
Yep.
How much of an adjustment is that for the rest of the team? Like, is it much? Like, I might sound like a stupid question, but I feel like there's something there. Like,
no, it's not a stupid question. The style is, and keep in mind that the players have to figure out how to play in front of him. How he likes the 2-on-1s played, how they, where he wants to set the puck up behind the net. If he's a guy that puts a lot of rebounds out there, or does he like to see pucks, on screen plays? Does he go on the short side? Does he go on the far side? Like, these are small details that you're not going to sort out by tomorrow night against Toronto. Yeah. Put it that way. There is going to be probably some growing pains or some bumps in the road. But this is it's a bigger picture. That's what you're looking at. This is a bigger picture for the Edmonton Oilers. And I think we've been talking about it all along. You knew what you have in Stuart Skinner. You don't know what you have in Tristan Jarry. You don't know what you have, in Stastny, that type of stuff. Like that's the great unknown. And that's what probably is a little bit scary for the fan base. But I think even if it's a lateral move, it's a win because you needed a different look back there.
I don't want to say that this is management just admitting that maybe Stuart Skinner was the biggest problem with their start this year, but it could kind of be portrayed as that. How much of what they've gone through so far this year do you think was on his shoulders?
Not as much as people think, put it that way, because there were times where they absolutely stunk in front of him. Like, it didn't matter who was in net. The way I look at it, though, I think when you look at the saves at the right time, the goals that were given up, I'll give you an example the other night. Am I still there? Did I say
Yeah. No, you're still good. You're still
Okay,
good. I think somebody else just hopped in, but you're still there. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I look at that overtime goal the other night against Buffalo. Okay, like yes, you should be mad at Evan Bouchard. You should think that Leon and Connor over backchecked on that play. But at some point, you need a big save, right? There's just little things that and I didn't lay that loss at Stu's feet, but you're saying like you just need the timely big saves from the starter. That's what I think was missing at the start of the season. But I think they all have to own the start of the season. They were terrible defensively, terrible, and it didn't matter who was in there. So I don't really blame it on the goaltending. I blame it on the preparedness of the group. And I didn't think that they were kind of ready to get going. And it looks like they've kind of come around and tried to figure out how they want to play. They just have to get to that every night.
Noodles, good stuff, man. Where are you flying to tomorrow? We'll have you hop on one of our weekend shows. How's that sound?
I know. I might be on a train or a bus. Who knows?
You know what? If you end up on a train today, text me. We'll get you on Reed's show. That'd be legendary.
I am right now. I am Del Griffith. I'm selling shower curtain rings right now. It's just ridiculous what's going on.
Well, safe travels, man. I hope you get to where you're going. And thanks for hopping on here. We'll talk to you Wednesday.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, there you go. That's Jamie McLennan from Overdrive. Obviously, he does the Nielsen Show every single Wednesday morning. And, we're going to have Joaquin Gage on EST Afternoons a little bit later on. He's a goalie, but I wanted to get a guy on to talk goalies right now. And that was Jamie McLennan. And he said he likes Tristan Jarry. He's a fan of his work. So your thoughts on that? 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. And straight into Tommy Gazzola. All right, let's bring in Tommy Gazzola. It is a special 2-hour oil stream today, as always, brought to you by Boston Pizza, where the holiday menu is now up. I had the kids yesterday, Tommy, and Tam was out. She went and got her hair done and went for dinner with a friend. So old daddy ordered Boston Pizza. The kids were loving it. I crushed a Brute last night. It was delicious. It was pretty good. I liked it. How you doing, buddy? You're muted, Tommy. What's going on? I can't hear Tommy.
Today's supposed to be my day off. Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah.
I didn't want to interfere with Noodles on his plane. So it's funny because I remember like Awanik's like, hey, Tom, you got the weekend, you got to work. So take Friday, draft. I wake up and my phone is just blowing up. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm trying to sleep here. And I see the trade. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
I know.
You've got to be kidding me.
Benny said last night at the end of the post game, you're like, no goalie trade coming. Like,
yeah.
And boom, trigger pull.
Well, and then immediately I'm texting everybody. I think my first text to like about 10 people that have information. I'm like, WTF? Like, why? What the fiddlestick are we doing here? And I got a lot of intel. So yeah. So where do you want to start on this?
I don't know, man. Like, why did this come to a lot of, we haven't talked about yet on the oil stream special, but I know they were talking about on the Hangout. Any thoughts on the timing of it?
I think it's just to get Jarry in tow on this road trip. They're going out east. He can just meet up with them. It sucks for Stuart Skinner. But, and he'd been playing good. Maybe that's why he was playing good. You know, what's funny too, is Brett Kulak being included in this deal. I've got a lot to say about that as well, but I was on the ice, just like taking video to send to Benny to put up on social media. And Brett like looked at me funny the other day, cause I get along really well with him. And it was kind of like a sad look. And I was like, what the hell was that? But maybe it was just him kind of like, oh, good morning, Tom. And then maybe I'm reading too much into it because information about this deal, the more I got it sounds like this came to fruition very recently.
Okay. All right. Your thoughts on the deals? Tristan Jarry, the guy.
Different goalie. It's a change. I think I've been told it was to maybe make things a little easier in the Oilers locker room. It sounds like Jarry wanted out of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Dusty, the fact that Stan Bowman was pretty open about saying they were looking to improve the goaltending. We had heard diddly squat about any potential contract extension for Stuart Skinner. I think that is very telling. The writing was on the wall. It was either now or later, right? So that I think was very telling. And the fact that all these rumors about goalies had popped up was also very telling. Do I think the Oilers have a better goalie? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I think they do. I do think.
They do?
Yeah, like, I'm not trying to slight Stuart Skinner. I went to bat for Stuart Skinner more times than I probably should have. There was also times this season where I was like, man, you got to make a change for sake of change. So it's kind of been all over the map. But I do think, like, I said this morning, I think this is at worst, a minimal upgrade on Stuart Skinner. And if I just didn't like the price that had to be paid to get it done. Right. I do think Tristan Jarry is a better goaltender than Stuart Skinner. And if that's the end goal here, if the end goal is to give your team more confidence because you've got a better goaltender, is he perfect? No. Is he going to come in and win a Vezina the rest of the year?
No. Probably
not. But if the end goal here was to simply get something different and better between the pipes at some level, I do think they accomplished that today. I do think he's a better goalie than Stuart Skinner.
We'll see.
Is he the answer? I'm not saying he's going to be the answer.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here going, they're going to win 2 Stanley Cups in the next 2 years because they've got Tristan Jarry. And I'm not hanging their Stanley Cup Finals losses solely on Stuart Skinner. Now, Skinner certainly needed some help along the way in the playoffs to get to the Stanley Cup Final. I would have preferred a Skinner-Jarry duo if you could have somehow pulled that off, but Pittsburgh was never going to retain, so that was literally impossible. But I do think that they are better in net. Maybe I'll end up being wrong, but I think they're better in net today than they were yesterday. Did they pay too much, in my opinion? Yes. But if that's the end topic, and Reed asked a great question on the Hangout today. Now, does this trade increase their chances of winning a Stanley Cup before McDavid's contract runs out? And most of the votes have been, well, I'll take a look because I took it and posted it on Twitter. I would say yes, at least minimally, I guess would be my answer to that, right? Like, what do we got here? Here's the results. So I said, does this trade increase the Oilers' chances of winning the Stanley Cup in 26, 27, or 28? 44% of people said yes. 55% of people said no, or 56% round up said no. We're over 1,000 votes in here in the last couple hours. And I think I would probably lean towards the 44.3% on the yes side.
All right. Do you want to hear some of the guts of this deal?
Yeah. Let's dive into it a bit here.
Okay. So this was Pittsburgh changing its mind a couple days ago.
Okay.
Skinner was always discussed as being part of this deal. Like you mentioned, no retention was ever going to be a part of it. Kulak collateral damage. And we'll see how the defense looks without him. I think he was a sneaky good piece. Great guy, obviously local boy. Now, I've had other people that are close to Jarry tell me that he wanted out of Pittsburgh and Stu wanted out of Edmonton.
Really?
That's what I've been told.
That Stu wanted out.
Both guys wouldn't have minded a change of scenery.
Really?
Can you blame either one of them with how things have gone?
No, I don't know.
That's what I've been told.
I think that's the first we've heard that today. I mean, I haven't followed all of the content in the market today. But Skinner was open to change then, is what you're saying.
Yes. So yeah, and then just it came to fruition a couple days ago. That's why, because I'm sitting there going, last week I had a Penguins staff member at the game, and I had a bunch of Oilers guys at the game mocking the rumors. And I was like, well, why were you guys laughing so much at the rumors?
Yeah. If
you guys ended up making this deal anyway. And it was like the retention point and some of the pieces were incorrect. So that's where that comes from. And yeah, they said there was nothing that was cooking, really. Like, they had discussions, which we had acknowledged. They had asked about Jarry a few weeks ago. Apparently things started kicking up after the loss to Dallas. And then it kind of went away last week. And then within the last couple of days, the Pens finally just said, okay, we have a change of heart. Let's do this deal. And then they signed off on it either late last night or early this morning.
All right, so 780-218-9999. Mike in Thunder Bay texts in and says, Jarry at some point will let in a goal on the first shot against, like all Oilers goalies do, and the whole of oil country will melt down. Tay-Tay's asking, what's the expectation for Poulin? Did Pittsburgh not give him enough of a look, or are the others expecting he will finish his contract and head to Europe? Have you heard anything on that aspect of it? I mean, he's first-round pick 6 years ago. Hasn't stuck yet. I don't think you're slotting him into the bottom six here, right?
Yeah, no, you're not. If you want, that's the other thing too. And going back to the Kulak part of this, if you want to be a contender this year, and I still maintain that I think the Oilers are going to take a step back. They'll make the playoffs, lose in the first or second round, and then springboard into next year and go on a run for another year or two.
Yeah.
You have now created a hole on your back end. You've gotten rid of one of your better defensive defensemen.
So you think it was just do you think it was like a down couple of months here for Kulak, and there's a bounce back? Like I think losing Kulak, and we'll see, Bowman, what'd he say? Younger version of Kulak. Noodles was just on, said he watched Nashville recently. He said Stashny skates very well. Said he kind of skates in the similar vein to Kulak, and they've got a little bit younger here. But I mean, Kulak comes with a ton of playoff experience. Now, the rest of the group also has a ton of playoff experience now. So maybe Kulak's playoff experience isn't as important as it was, 3 years ago, Tommy. But I did not want to see Kulak go. I would have liked to seen him stay here for the rest of the year and into free agency and see what happens from that point on.
Dusty, if we take a look at a big picture, like, yes, the shock and the impact of the goaltending trade, that's one thing. But on the back end now, like, I'm sure there's people already texting and saying Jake Wallman, when he's healthy, he'll slide back in there. I understand that. But now you just took a hit to your depth on defense. And I'm starting to get more and more flashbacks to 2018 when Peter Chiarelli started trading guys away. And I go back to the summer of 2017, leading into the 17-18 season. And then in 18, Chiarelli and 19 started to really feel the heat and make big mistakes. In 2017, the Oilers traded away a lot of veteran players that had great experience, and maybe they weren't elite. Maybe they were, pricier tickets, but they were proven NHL players. We have people on the post-game show last night asking about Emerson and Regula. Which guy do you trust going into the playoffs? Now you're bringing in these other guys while giving away a good veteran NHLer that's been to a Stanley Cup final, 3 times now? And then you're kind of rolling the dice on a goalie who has been an all-star, knows this area very, very well, deep connections to the organization, winning a championship and a Memorial Cup for them on the junior side. But now all of a sudden, I think this lineup looks weaker, and I have concern about that.
All right, what say you? 780-218-9999. I do want, RCN has just texted in a screen cap from EDL Analytics.
Oh, great. This is going to be awesome.
Tristan Jarry led the NHL in games with a goal against on the first shot last year. He allowed a goal on the first shot last season 8 times in a game. Sometimes he bounced back. Other times he couldn't get it back on the rails. But yeah, he allowed that's, I don't know, what was Skinner's number on this? And it doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world, but that's kind of funny that, like, we always joke about, first shot on goal goes in, and the others just traded for a guy who allowed 8 first shots on goal to go in last season. That's wild. I did not see that till now. Man.
I hope, like, I'm optimistic. I very much want this to work out. Tristan Jarry is a great guy. I believe he still has a home in and around the Sherwood Park
somebody
area.
Was saying he lives here in the off season. Yeah.
He married a girl from here. He has deep ties to the Oil Kings, like I just mentioned. A lot of people still in contact with him. I hope this works. I honestly do. And there are people from the organization acknowledging it's almost like change for the sake of change. And maybe that mental burden going away will help. And I hope it does for the sake of everybody. But it's still kind of like, at the end of the day, do you go, are the Oilers a better team right now? I'd say maybe.
It's a good question.
They do on the back end.
Let's are the Oilers a better team right now? 780-218-9999 or hit us up over on YouTube as well. Tommy, how much more do you think they do before the deadline? Like, this is a big one. We'll have to remember the deadline that they've already done this and not be expecting something super duper significant to happen. But, and you know, this is pretty much Tristan Jarry's your guy for the next couple of Stanley Cup runs that you're hoping to have. How much more aggressive do you get between now and the deadline?
I don't know. Like, it feels like they're an aggressive organization. First of all, that is an attitude shift that we've seen in the last decade. They've become very aggressive. So I expect them to be aggressive. Now, whether or not things come to fruition, I'm not sure. I think I feel like now we're going to see tinkering. And I don't know if it's going to be to build up for this year and load up for another cup run this year, or if it's 1 or 2, 3 years down the road where they're expecting to really hit it like I think they will. But yes, I think they'll be in the mix like they always are. I don't know what direction they're going in. I have question marks about the defense now. We've clearly seen Jake Wallman does have a penchant for getting hurt. We don't know what Evan Bouchard's going to be night to night. Darnell Nurse has seemed to steady himself a little bit. You know, Ekholm's playing a bit better. This is good right now. But I honestly don't know, Dusty.
It is interesting when you look at this group now with Wallman banged up. 3 of your 6 defensemen are Emberson, Regula, and Stastny.
Exactly. What is that?
Like, they'll have to address the blue line in some fashion prior to the deadline, I think.
I think they needed to address the blue line at some point this season, regardless, if they wanted to take themselves seriously as a
already
contender.
Before that, right?
Again, yeah, my opinion. But I'm looking at that back end. I'm going, you got 2 young guys. Regula just played his 39th game last night in the NHL. Emberson, who's the same age, by the way, has just played like 140 games in the NHL. Minimal playoff games. I don't think that's good enough to win a Stanley Cup as of today, or even make a run. Just my opinion.
Hampton Steve says, no, the overall team is not better. Marginally better in goal, but much worse on defense. Deadline priorities have to be 2 right shot defenders to play behind Bush, maybe another middle 6 winger, a la Jenner or Tuck. The Gord father says, Nick Jensen, JG Pajot retained at the deadline would be ideal. Wallman and Emberson on the third pair would be deep with people slotted properly. Paulie Dew says, I think the only guy that wins this trade is Stuart Skinner getting out of this toxic environment for him. And, you know, Stuart Skinner, Pittsburgh's got a couple of young goalies, right? That's why they were looking to move Tristan Jarry at all. So Skinner can go in, this will be good for Stuart Skinner. Like, if Stuart Skinner can go to Pittsburgh and look better than he did here in Edmonton, I'm not saying he does. I know some people are like, it's going to be a Dubnyk situation. It could be, but it might not. Okay? Like, Dubnyk was drafted in the first round. Dubnyk had some pre-draft pedigree coming, you know, when he came in. I mean, there's a little bit of a different level than Skinner, who was rushed into the job. And we could do an hour on how if they didn't botch it with Campbell, you would still be talking about developing Stuart Skinner and going, yeah, you know, he's developed properly. Maybe there's a different goalie there. Personally, with the way he moves in the net, I don't know if that would have ever been the case. But yeah, this is going to give them an opportunity here now, Tommy, to, and who were we talking about? I don't know. We were talking about it earlier today on the show and just about the timing of it and a chance to see what, like, evaluate this group now for 2.5 months. Right. And then you get to the deadline and you're not like, maybe it's still the goalie. Maybe it's still the goalie. Maybe it's still the goalie. Now you'll know that, hey, it was the goalie, or, it wasn't the goalie. We have to do some bigger things come deadline this year, right? Is that not what this kind of provides? And like, to me, if you're trying to figure out the timing of it, because the team actually has been playing better for 3 weeks. A couple of hiccups along the way, but they've been playing better for 3 weeks. And now you pull the trigger on this. And to me, it's like, they knew he wasn't the guy. Make a deal now. 2 months to evaluate what you have, fill those holes before the deadline, and try to go on another run. Probably how they're looking at the timing of it, I think.
Yeah, and listen, they have a very strong team, potentially very strong team when everybody's engaged, playing well, and they have a weak team when guys are coasting. We've seen that, and the fact that they still haven't won 3 games in a row this season at 31 games in is, to me, an issue. You ease some tension by making this move. That was another thing that was mentioned to me. Good for the room. Maybe
Okay, so Tommy,
room.
let's dive into that a little bit more.
Sure.
So Skinner's inability to stop pucks as much as they wanted him to stop pucks was bringing down the room a bit? Is that what we're saying there? Is that what
it
that
has
is?
to be performance-based? Stu's an angel.
Well, that's the thing.
I know he can.
So when you're hearing that from somebody around the team, it's like the room needed a goaltending pick-me-up to be like, we got to believe in the guy a little bit more type of thing.
Yeah. Now listen, Stu's a starting goalie in the NHL, and we know Joaquin. He's a weirdo that we love in our studios.
Yeah.
Goalies are like that, okay? They can get temperamental and stuff like that. Overall, Stu's a great guy. But maybe because of what's happened in the last couple of years, because of the struggles to make big saves, stop the first shot in games, just that maybe built up. And that's why I'm being told, hey, it's a change to make change for the room, perhaps a little bit. And then we'll see how this new guy does.
You know, this sounds like before they started playing better, when we were all talking about they need something to shock the room, like to sort of kick them into gear, in which they sort of found a gear without that happening. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's maybe why some people might be surprised on this as well. So.
And again, to reiterate, like the notes here. So after the Dallas loss, is when the conversation really started to kick up. Okay. With Pittsburgh, we know that the Oilers have been calling around, seeing what was available. We talked about Pagnotta, talked about on Hello Hockey. Yes, they called about Tristan Jarry. We all acknowledge that. Last week, people from the Pens, literally in the building, and people from the Oilers were going, boy, that rumor is not at all true. Retention was never going to happen. Some of the pieces were not right. Skinner was always the principal part of the deal. Kulak is collateral damage, as I was told.
Yeah.
And then there was no deal. Things were quiet until a couple of days ago where the Pens had a change of heart, let the Oilers know, and then they signed off on it either late last night or early this morning. And then, just as a note, what was pointed out to me by someone very close to Jarry and close to Skinner, both guys were open to a change of scenery.
All right, so there you go. Tommy, I appreciate you hopping in here, buddy. You get back to your day off, all right, my man? And we'll see you. Well, I guess tomorrow you're on location.
I'll see you tonight, big boy.
Oh, yeah, Christmas party tonight. This whole day's been thrown into we get Christmas draft, all this stuff. I'll see you tonight, buddy. It's on tonight.
I can't wait, man. It's going to be an awesome time. So I'll see. I'm going to go get an activation in and figure out what the hell's going on.
That's a nap, right? I'm going to go have a nap after the shows too. Is that what that's what you mean by activation?
I'm recharged. I slept very well until my phone started blowing up about an hour ago.
All right. Well, you go hit the gym. I'll have a snooze, and I'll see you tonight for the EST Christmas party.
All right, big boy. I'll see you later.
All right. There you go. That is Tom Gazzola hopping in. Interesting. I mean, that's the big takeaway for this one that I hadn't really seen or heard so far. From somebody close to both Tristan Jarry and Stuart Skinner, both goaltenders were ready for a change. Both goaltenders were open to a move. So Stuart Skinner was not sitting here going, oh, no, don't move me. He's obviously was okay with going and trying something else. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Hey, if you are watching on YouTube today, smash the thumbs up for us. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. We would love that. The Oil Stream special 2-hour edition today brought to you by Boston Pizza. Holiday playlist menu is now out, and it is absolutely wonderful. Studio here brought to you by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. It's almost lunchtime. If you're looking for something for lunch today, 3-piece bone-in chicken, just $8. And if you want to splurge a little bit more, I suggest the blackened chicken sandwich. Absolutely delicious. All right, YouTube Trev, you've watched Noodles. What do you think of Tommy saying that both Tristan Jarry and Stu Skinner were open to a change, open to being moved?
I guess it's a little surprising, but when you look, the more and more you look at it, I'm asking now, like, what was the tipping point? And I think it was the Dallas game. And I don't know if, because I swear recently, and that's one thing I will say is critical as I've been on Skinner the last few years, when we had Gazdic on just talking about Cam Talbot and he was just talking about pros, I feel like Stuart Skinner falls under that. For sure he does. And the way he handles himself and the way he handles being a goalie in a Canadian market, never once did he, he handled it very well, man. Like better than most would. And so that's one thing that was very impressive, but that's why it's surprising for me, because I feel like he's always been, no, I love it here. I love being in Edmonton. I grew up here. This is what I've wanted my whole life to play for. And then when you hear that, it's kind of sad that it changed. A little bit of a Mitch Marner situation there as well. But it was, for me, I remember like if I was in Skinner's shoes or skates, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
The Dallas Stars game, he was allowing a few goals there. And then he finally made a save. And every time he would make a save, when he got pulled, Pickard would make saves. And like it was his first save, the crowd just lost it. They're like, yeah. Like, and you're on the bench, man. That would be just a significant blow to like your confidence. Like, and it's just like,
you can put on a strong face.
Yeah,
you got to be sitting there. And then we heard some stuff that was said to his wife. And that's just unacceptable, and not going to have to worry about that in Pittsburgh.
No, he doesn't. But I felt for him like very bad there because, that's super tough, and you're doing everything you can, and he, from all accounts, like he works his hardest. He's always out there. He's always giving it his all, and unfortunately the results weren't there for him. So that's why I think it's time. It is time, and this is what's best for him for sure.
Probably what's best for him. I think it's what's best for the hockey team. Your thoughts on it, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Did you hear the stat that
don't tell
RCN texted in? Tristan Jarry allowed 8 first shot goals last year.
Okay, yeah. So my immediate thoughts is, so they got their guy. That's on par.
Sounds like an Oiler already.
Sounds like an Oiler already. That is too good. Yeah, man. But I will say the Pittsburgh Penguins were kind of the laughingstock of the league last year. They were a terrible team. And, watching the Oilers, we know what bad team defense can do for your goaltending, right? So, yeah, that's obviously glaring. That's not something I was too happy to hear. But I feel like, when the Oilers played them both times, especially that first game last year, I think it was in November, December, but it was here in Edmonton. Like, the Oilers were kind of going in their slump. Like, it was, kind of like this year and the previous year before that. But Pittsburgh comes to town, and the Oilers, they look like just gangsters out there. They controlled the game. And it was like, oh, wow. Are the Oilers this good, or is just Pittsburgh that bad? So Pittsburgh was that bad last year, so I don't necessarily fault him too much on that.
780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Let's dive into more of your text messages. JR from Calgary says, lateral move, but who's replacing Kulak? Well, this is the thing. They are a couple of things, I guess. First of all, Kulak could have walked at the end of the year as an unrestricted free agent, so you were going to have to replace him anyway. Or you somehow convinced him to stay, but I don't know if they would have been able to pay.
I don't know. I think he was wanting quite a bit.
You've got Wallman, you've got Nurse, you've got Echo who can play the left side.
Yeah.
Now you've got this Spencer Stastny who can play the left side. So to me, the replacement for him is one of Wallman on your third pair, which probably won't be the case. Or this Stastny guy. That's it. So this is your replacement. I don't know much about, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know everything or anything about Spencer Stastny. So that's a wild card. Like, let's see how he looks.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. Everything by all accounts. Like, I will say, I consume hockey every single day. I've never heard of this guy in my entire life. So I'm just like,
I consume hockey every single day,
and I've never heard of him in my entire life. So that tells you a little bit there. But Noodles had some thoughts on him. A little bit of a younger Kulak, just looking at his DB, 9 points, 30 games played. I know it was Glue Guys buying or selling yesterday, but I don't know. Like, I feel like Kulak's play has really been, if it wasn't for Nurse's play earlier in the year, he steadied out quite a bit recently. If it wasn't for definitely Bouchard and his just inconsistent play. I mean, we'd probably be pointing, well, even Jake Wallman, like the whole defense really hasn't been that great. Even Ekholm you could look at. But if it wasn't for any of those guys, you'd be like, you'd be like, hey, man, Kulak's really struggling this year. And that's one thing. It's everyone, like, he's got to be thankful for everyone on this team for sucking even more because he's really been under the radar, not that great this season. And we haven't really talked about it at all. But I don't know. I do think, this will be an interesting, match. How will he do? I don't know. But, I mean, I think it's good for, the Oilers. You weren't getting anything more that you haven't seen from Brett Kulak. That's who he was as a player. And so, and you were probably going to have to, he was probably wanting a little bit of money, like come off season here. And I don't think the Oilers would have been able to afford him or spend their
Stash
money
needs an
that
RFA
way.
that's not going to cost you anything.
Yeah. So there's that as well.
Yeah. So you're going to save some money there. Let's get to a few of your messages over on YouTube. Gord says, Skinner's a great human. I hope nothing but the best for him, but it was time for him and the team to move on from each other. I hope he bounces back and does well elsewhere. This one, CK401 says, coming after her and her kids at a local coffee shop and grocery store, it shows how truly disgusting the fan base is. Yeah, Scotty knows says death threats in people's family. Absolutely insane. Big Ukes there saying, those people do not represent the fan base. No, I mean, I would think 98% of the fan base is pretty awesome. I would say that a good chunk of them can be very passionate after games, but I will never understand people who do stupid shit like sliding into DMs, going after people's family. Like they're just, I mean, I just don't understand why we have to get to that point. Like, it's awful. I get like a lot of fans are always on the media. Oh, you ran this guy out of town. You ran this guy out of town. And you got, Maddie going to Skinner's face and saying, well, fans want a new goal. Like some of that stuff, that's not a great look on our part as media. I get it. Sometimes we are very hard on people. And then sometimes the fan base with social media,
that's what it is.
And being online, I mean, the fan base can sometimes take it too far as well. So it's frustrating. Like when you see that stuff, like I'm just thinking if that's like my family and somebody is go sliding into my wife's DMs. First of all, don't you dare. Second of all, she's not on Twitter anyway. Third of all, if anybody did that or was like yelling at my kids at school, your dad's show sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how strong you are on the outside. That shit would suck. That would suck.
It would,
like if you think about this guy. All he wants to do is win a Stanley Cup in Edmonton. Does he want to be a better goalie? Sure, he wants to be a better goalie. He's just not overly capable of really getting that much better, I think, at this stage of his career. But then you have to deal with all that stuff. Like, that sucks. And it's just a small group, but they're idiots. And he probably won't have to deal with that in Pittsburgh.
No.
Nothing against Pittsburgh's hockey fans and their market, but let's be honest, we all take this way too seriously.
Yeah. Fair enough, man.
It's true.
It's
the truth. We take it way too seriously, and we love you. We get to operate because you guys all take it seriously. We take it seriously, so we love it. Don't get me wrong; it's our livelihood, but it is a little ridiculous.
It is absolutely it is, man. At the end of the day, it's just sport. But you bring up Pittsburgh there, and I pose the question to you, Dustin Nielsen.
Yes.
Does Stuart Skinner become the next Devin Dubnyk?
I was going to ask you that question, and you flipped the table on me. Good one. No, I don't think so.
No, neither do I.
No, like this. Why it was tough to be guy who defended Skinner maybe more so than some others because he just doesn't move like 95% of the NHL goalies today.
No.
Right? He is a shot blocker. He is, I'm big, I'm going to get down here, and if somebody goes by me, I'm just going to kick my leg out. Oh, sorry, I kicked my water at you. I'm just going to kick my leg out. It's not like most guys are the push, the slide, it's compact. His upside is very limited because of how he physically plays the position. Whereas Dubnyk was a big dude, but Dubnyk could get around in the net. Like Dubnyk, so I just know I don't. I hope he does. Not so that Oilers fans are like, oh my God, let him get away. But for the guy who
For the person.
took the heat that he took here at Edmonton. I hope he goes somewhere else and gets in the top 5 for Vezina voting 3 times in his career or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think the way he plays the position will allow him to do that.
No. Yeah. No, I completely agree with you there, Dusty. Like even as of late, and we'll get to the timing of this because I also want to ask you that if you're surprised by the timing of the trade. Two comments on the timing. One, these things take time, right? So Tommy just said that talks really cranked up after the Dallas game, right? Now the whole team sucked in the Dallas game, but management's probably looking at it going, well, a couple of saves here or there, maybe we salvage that game. I don't think they would have. Wasn't meant to be, whatever. So he said things sort of picked up there. So this is not something that, did it get done last night and this morning? Sure. Had it been discussed for 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Sure. So this trade started to be discussed before they started playing better hockey over these last 3 weeks, right? So that's why now you're like, wait a second, they've played pretty good. Skinner's had a .921 save percentage so far this month. This morning.
His last 6 games, he's over .930. You're sitting there going, oh, he's kind of coming around, but they would have already started this process. Hell, maybe the Penguins watched him the last 3 games and are like, we'll take him now. Yeah. Maybe something because Tommy said that the Penguins sort of just came around to the idea and decided to get this deal done. Probably once the Oilers are like, no, like we'll get to the retention thing in just a second. The other thing from a timing perspective from the Oilers angle of it is, and I think this is probably the best argument for the timing. Now you get Tristan Jarry for 2.5 months before the trade deadline. So you'll know come trade deadline that, okay, you know what? We've solidified goaltending here. Now we see what the real issues are. And the real issue is you need some sort of guy who can generate some offense in your bottom 6, and you need a right shot D-man. And that'll give you time to properly, maybe worst case scenario is you get to the trade deadline, you're 10 days away from it, and you go, damn, we still got a goalie issue. and then you're like, uh-oh. So that would be a bit of a backfire, but I think that's how you make sense of it from a timing perspective.
Yeah, that was my process too, because I was thinking, I'm like, man, like, Stuart Skinner has been playing, relatively good in the last handful of games, and why now? And then I'm like, why not wait till the trade deadline? But that's something you don't want lingering heading into the deadline. Like, you want to know, like going into the deadline, you want to be like, okay, no, we got our guy. And that's just the thing. Like, can you imagine? I'm not going to go there, but if they're still asking those questions come trade deadline, that's a conversation to be had in another time.
Eden texts in and says, afternoon, boys. The more I think about it, the less I like the trade. I think both goalies have their pluses and minuses, but Jarry is older, more expensive, and more injury prone. And the Oilers gave up Kulak in a second. I don't think the deal favors Edmonton. Yeah, I think the deal is, I would say that I think the deal is much better for Pittsburgh than it is horrible for Edmonton. You know what I mean? Like, this is a great deal for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They have 2 other goalies that they like. They unload Tristan Jarry. They still get another goalie back that they can take for a test run, and who knows? Maybe Stu settles in really nicely there. They get Kulak, who they can move for a pick again, and they don't have to retain anything. And this is another reason I think Oilers fans, and I've seen a little bit in the texts, the chat's moving pretty quickly over on YouTube. We'll try to get to more of those. But, like, nobody else in the league probably would have traded for Tristan Jarry without retention.
No.
So it's like the Oilers were just, well, they are at a point of weakness. Everybody in the league knows about their goaltending issues. I don't think there was much negotiating here from Stan Bowman.
No.
I think Stan Bowman was like, we want Tristan Jarry, but we want you to retain. And the Penguins are like, we're not retaining. He goes, okay, well, we'll just take Tristan Jarry.
Yeah.
It's... Yeah,
like they're in no way, like no one's going to help them out. Like, as much as you'd want, as much as you think that's the thing, it's not really a thing. And so, yeah, like who's going to help the Edmonton Oilers out, especially with the position? They know how desperate they are for a goalie. Like, Kyle Dubas is there laughing right now. Like, oh, no, like, oh, I see exactly where you're at. No, I'm absolutely not going to, like, he held all the, Like he just had all the control over this, in my opinion. And so, yeah. And as far as that text goes, there are, like, oh, it's just a trade for the sake of change. Like as far as talent goes, we really don't know. Is he much better? Maybe he might be a little bit better. But you look back at what Colorado was able to do last year with acquiring Blackwood. Like that, in hindsight, it's been unreal for them, right? So sometimes you make a change in net and it just really, really works out. And here's hoping that's what happens for the Oilers right now.
I'm actually, outside of the whole, what they gave up, it's too much. And outside of all of the elements of the deal, I am kind of excited to see a different goaltender in net for the Edmonton Oilers.
I'm very excited.
Let's see. Let's get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Was it the goaltender? Was it Stuart Skinner that was holding the team back? And by back, I mean, they didn't really hold them back that much. They got to deciding games of the Stanley Cup final. But was he the thing that stopped them from getting over the top?
Maybe.
Let's see.
I'm excited for sure. I think you brought it up with Tommy there. Like this team tends to really react in a positive fashion when something drastic happens with a firing of a coach or making a trade. And I like to think that that's going to happen again. So yeah, and just for this, it'll be nice to see. It will be nice to see. And here's hoping the fans can treat him and welcome him in with
arms wide open, as Creed would say. Yeah. All right, 780-218-9999. Saskatoon Muncher says, I'm excited to see a fresh face in net. It sucks to see Kulak go out the door, but Bowman probably knew there was going to be a market for him in the summer. I bet he gets 2 or 3 years times $5 million in the summer next year. Library Pad says, me no likey. Overpay for a lateral move in net. Defense has been downgraded. Huge risk for a small potential improvement. See, well, what I think here is that the Oilers are viewing it as a potential for a significant improvement.
Yeah. You'd hope so. You'd hope that's where their mind's at. Like, who's to say? Like, here's hoping, man. They just go on a wicked stretch. Like I certainly would love that so much, man. It'd be great. It would be great. And for me watching this team my whole life, I still really have yet to be like, aside from Talbot one season, I'm like, oh, I can confidently say the Oilers have a legit netminder, a number one starter. I haven't been able to say that, man. Like really, Devin Dubnyk, whatever. I was pretty young, and then you had Habby Bulin, and then you had Rolly the goalie, and then you had Victor Foss, you had Ben Scrivens, you had
Smitty and Koskinen. Talbot was the number one,
but that's what I'm saying. Talbot was for sure. Like I could go in and what did he have? 73 games played. I'm like,
that one huge year. Yeah,
like that's crazy. Smitty and Koskinen, I was still questioning most nights. I'm like, oh, like what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen tonight with these guys? And so I feel for, I see Mike Smith. I don't know, Mike Smith, like he
had some moments though.
He had some moments. Absolutely. He had some moments. I was never comfortable with him in net. And I guess that's what I'm saying. It would be awesome to see Tristan Jarry come in here and steal the show. If you know what I mean.
That's a good one. Good reference, Trev.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Here's a good text. Travis texts in. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com today, you can text us. Tell your friends. Edmonton Sports Talk, the go-to place when news like this happens. We've been absolutely rolling all day. It's not going to stop. EST Afternoons is coming up. That's into the Reed Wilkins show a little bit later on today. Travis texts in and says, Skinner shutout on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Kulak just stands beside Bouchard all game and gets 2 breakaway goals.
Oh, gosh.
Boosh! Hits him. Thanks. See ya.
Yeah.
That's a funny text. That's one of the funnier texts that I've seen.
You think they'll go head-to-head?
So far. Oh, I have to.
Yeah, they have to.
I mean, it's a coward's move if it's not Jarry versus Skinner in net for both of those teams on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Has to be the case. Although, if one team was more likely to not do it, the Penguins might not throw Skinner to the Wolves.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
true.
can you imagine Draisaitl and McDavid
Just
on the
torture
power
him?
play just firing passes across the crease to the other side, and Skinner's like, damn it,
Yeah.
I gotta go.
That'd be
Like,
tough, man. I could see it. I imagine Jarry will be in net tomorrow against the Leafs. I don't see why he wouldn't. So that'll be fun.
I don't know if this is going to come across, but you know what? If they do play head to head, I'd like to see Stu win that game.
Really?
No, yeah, everybody's going to move on after that. Let Stu have his last. It wasn't me, boys.
Yeah.
And then he goes on and signs somewhere
hoorah.
else in the offseason. Oilers are going to be fine after that moving forward. Like,
It truly would be the most, I don't know, Oilers thing possible.
Right? That would
like
be-
just the luck.
that would be peak Oilers oil.
Post game, especially if it's a shutout, just plays unreal. I hate to say it. You could absolutely see it happening, but at the same time, I could see Connor and Leon torching him. I could.
Skinner robbing Draisaitl from his spot on the power play. Coach Mike is asking an interesting question. Oilers' workload during this road trip is going to be crazy. They've got 6 games in their next 9 days. Jarry is going to be tested. Do you think they will ride Jarry? Is Pickard only going to be getting the back-to-back games? I wouldn't be surprised if... So, yeah, they've got 6 games left before Christmas, right?
Believe so.
I would not be surprised if it's a 3-3 split. Just to...
Ease him in.
Yeah, just to sort of ease Jarry in. So they got the back-to-backs, Habs, Leafs, and then they got the back-to-backs, Wild, Golden Knights. So that'll be 2. And then you got Pittsburgh, you got Boston, and you got the Flames somewhere there where you could find another game for Pickard in there somewhere.
It's always fascinating to hear. Like, I can't wait to hear what Gager has to say on this, being a former goalie. We just had Noodles on the top of the oil stream, which was awesome. But his insight on just, you know, the Oilers are going to have to get used to him, but he's going to have to get familiar with how the Oilers play.
Yeah.
Like, not just from little things, but like to big things as well. You know, I don't think about that ever. So that'll be interesting. Here's hoping he...
We're saving Gager for EST afternoons.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't want to bring him in and steal the thunder on the oil stream.
Hernan-
Apparently, Hernan tells me, Hernan walks in
Hernan
today.
wouldn't allow you.
Hernan walks in today and goes, I think we should cancel Christmas party. It's a big day. I was like, what are you talking about? And he looks at me and goes, you got the change you wanted. This was the trade you wanted. I said, I didn't say I wanted this trade. He goes, well, you got it. I think we should cancel Christmas party. I said, really? He goes, yeah. Yeah, I think that's what we should do. He goes, Gager called me crying over Kulak. Can't believe they traded Kulak. So Hernan and Gager are coming up. Awesome show, 1 to 3, right here on YouTube. Tune in, iHeart, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, and then that'll lead into the Reed Wilkins show as well.
That is his guy, Mr. Reliable. Oh no, what's their nickname? Nasties will know the answer to this. Gager's got a nickname for
Kulak?
Kulak, yeah. But yeah, he loves him. It's tough to see. He's been, kind of overlooking, obviously, like the Stuart Skinner, that is the big fish there. But Brett Kulak's time here, he didn't miss a single game as an Oiler, if I'm not mistaken.
Did he not miss a single game?
Yeah, no.
Steady Eddie.
Oh, no. Well, that might be it, actually. That might be the nickname. Well, that's just a normal name.
Oh, really?
That's just I don't know if that was it. But yeah, I wish nothing but the best for good old Kulak as well. How about that game last night, Dusty?
Well, the game last night was that was a good one. What have you thought of Bowman so far? Let's get Bowman transactions here. We find
I was just thinking
Stan
about that.
Bowman Oilers transactions. There's got to be a web page for this, right? Like, I want to dive into this a bit. Let's take a look at the overall Stan Bowman. Here's a history of trades. This is when he's in Chicago, though.
I would say, as of late, McDavid extension, obviously that was unreal.
But
Jake Wallman extension. As far as bringing people in,
no, but let me know. Stan Bowman had nothing to do with the Connor McDavid extension.
Of course he did.
Nobody did.
No.
Like, I'm not giving Stan Bowman any credit, or Jeff Jackson for that matter.
He happened to be here.
They
when
just
that
said,
happened.
Connor, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And Connor said, you know what, I'm going to give you guys all. You think Connor was like, I want 15. And Stan Bowman's like, you'll only get 12 and a half. Like, so I'm not counting that one.
No.
McDavid extension is not on the ledger of either of those guys. It's just McDavid does whatever he wants. What else do we got? The Roslovic one kind of fell into their lap. Nobody wanted to pay him, but it's worked out.
It has worked out. You got Vasily Podkolzin, who I'd say, for the most part, that's been pretty solid.
Podkolzin's he's been good here. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. That was Jeff Jackson, or was Bowman the GM when they pulled the trigger on that?
I believe he was.
Okay.
Because that was right after the offer sheets, which
Oh yeah, that's right.
I
you're right. That was
sheets. Man, it's tough to say. Like, I feel like the things that have went well for Stan Bowman, it's kind of just happened to be. It has nothing to do with his control or say. You know, it's just like they're Roslovic. Oh yeah, that's right time,
gave
right
Frederick
place.
8 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, everything aside from Skinner, Arvidsson, no. I'm still ticked about Broberg and Holloway. I probably will for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you will.
So yeah, I'd say I'd give him a C-. He had nothing to do with McDavid signing. I love the Wallman trade. That's probably been my favorite move he's made.
Mind you, they played better.
C-.
They played better without Wallman.
I know.
I don't know what that means. I think Wallman's a good piece too. I don't know. It might be just. I mean, the recent solid play can't be because Wallman's hurt. I hope that's not the case. Mangiapane looked okay to start.
Yeah, but
He's been kind of meh. Frederick, we don't need to discuss today because we've got 7 years to discuss that.
yeah, and I forgot Skinner, Arvidsson, I guess, and that was right before.
That was in the window where it was just Jeff Jackson.
Yeah.
And the rest of the
Like a
staff,
week.
the Skinner and Arvidsson stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say so far it's been pretty meh.
Pretty underwhelming.
Pretty meh.
Yeah.
So far from Bowman. But he did go get a goalie, and everybody wanted a goalie. So let's see how it works out. 780-218-9999. What's this one say? Mill Cheese 1. This trade and how it pans out will be a big part of how we define Stan's time here. I'm surprised he made this dubious bet, one that has a direct line to their cup chances.
Do you feel desperation, as Tommy alluded to? Like, do you feel that? Is this any?
Yeah, but
Is this
they're supposed to be desperate though,
Yeah.
right? Goaltending's their issue. That's what everybody brings up all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you talk to anybody around the NHL, they're like, oh yeah, but the Oilers goaltending. Like, yes, this comes across. You traded for a guy who I'm not sure anybody else would have traded for, mostly because a lot of their other goaltending situations are better than what the Oilers have here. But from the vibe in the city and the vibe with people outside of the market, the Oilers were supposed to be desperate
Yeah.
for a goaltending upgrade. Right now, the debate here is not that they weren't desperate to try to change their goaltender. The debate here is, did they do enough to change the goaltender? Because this one's locked in now. Like, this is your
Locked
guy.
in.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid has 2.5 years left here. You've got guaranteed 3 more playoff runs with Connor McDavid. You have now identified Tristan Jarry as the goalie who is going to be your goalie, your number one guy for those next 2.5. If this doesn't work out and Connor leaves in 2.5 years, we'll be on the air talking about it. And this day will come up over and over and over again, good or bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's the day. That's this day. That's where we're at. This is the day setting up the next 2.5 years. This upcoming free agency will also be a big day in how it all plans out, right? The cap goes up. You're going to have some money to spend. There's no more room for error when
No.
McDavid's giving you a deadline.
Yeah.
I think.
No, I mean, that's well said. I think, today is the day we'll look back on, just like the Jesper Wallstedt, Xavier Borgo, stuff like that. You can kind of, I can completely agree with that, Dusty. What are your thoughts on do you think McDavid and Draisaitl, like, they have no say in this, hey? Like, were they, like, hey, did Bowman go to them and be like, yo?
Well, did we not hear reports that they, like, fought for Pickard when a few weeks back?
I heard that. Well, I heard, that was the rumblings for sure.
So there was rumblings that they spoke highly of Pickard and were like,
yep.
I mean, do they go, the Stan Bowman called Connor McDavid last night and go, listen, we got a deal for Stu in place. We're going to get Tristan Jarry. Yes or no? I sure hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
I get it. Connor has a lot of power. And I do believe that superstars in leagues with like guys who are at that level should probably have more say than some others. But I don't think you're green lighting like McDavid's the final guy who makes the call.
No.
You give him a heads up, probably give him a heads up. Be like, hey, we're pulling the trigger on this. I mean, if he is 100% opposed, like vehemently, he's like, no, this is a massive mistake. Tommy said when he was on, he said, this helps the Oilers' room a bit, which to me makes it sound like goaltending failures were bringing the group down a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't think it's to the point where it's like, Connor, should we do this trade?
No. It can't be. It better not be. There's a reason why you have your general manager there, but yeah.
But Connor has some level of power.
Yeah.
Like I would think Connor probably has like sort of Connor's different. Okay, so like I see Stupid Peter say it's crazy to think that any player has a say in what trades happen. I get it. You're right. And for guys not named Ovechkin, Crosby, and McDavid in the last 15 years, I 100% agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I think Connor had like a low-level veto where if he's like, no, this guy's very important to our group in general, I would advise against this from a players group perspective type of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe he has something like that, which a very small handful of people would probably have. Like Sidney Crosby when a Chris Kunitz conversation comes up. Back in the day. These guys were important
for sure
to the superstar level.
No, that's fair. No, I was just curious because when you are the top end talents of the world, as you had mentioned, a little bit like you don't really have a say, but you're definitely like they'll let you know what's going on.
His agent runs the organization. His junior coach is the head coach.
Yeah, so
like it's not like we'd be making something up.
Yeah.
Like his junior coach is the head coach, and his agent runs the entire organization. So yeah, he probably has a little bit of say in something along the way.
I agree. Oh, wow. Do you think this was happening today, Dusty?
No.
Did anyone think this was happening?
No.
Could we be talking about a draft right now?
Well, we could have been talking about how we could be talking about how Reed completely went after Quinn and ruined Christmas draft. Because I think that's what he was leaning towards doing.
I think so.
Christmas draft has been rescheduled Tuesday from 9 to 11.
Nice.
So be ready for that. It should be good. Look at this one. Saskatoon Muncher says, good job on Oil Stream, Trev. Need to get him on a show full time. I feel like he excels even more in this situation than chiming in here and there.
Oh.
What do you think about that, Trev?
That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, I'm kind of just still in shock, if I'm going to be honest. But Saskatoon Muncher, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Where do you think, like, was this always Stuart Skinner's future? Like, could they have handled things differently if they got, maybe not, let's not say that they got a different goalie, but let's just say if Jack Campbell panned out and he was what he was supposed to be, he was the number one. Do you think that we'd be having this conversation right now? Was there something along the lines like through development where it just really didn't work out?
I don't know. Like,
was this always in the cards for Stuart Skinner?
I never thought, and I used to be more of a draft nerd and a prospect nerd, back in the day. And I'd heard some good things about Skinner when he was in junior. Had some people like around the Hurricanes organization were like, this guy's pretty good.
I watched him almost every day.
Well, yeah, you would have been down. Yes, exactly. So you would know him from junior. And like, I don't remember. And this is, I mean, going back to the 1260 days, I'm trying to think, when they were going through some of the goaltending situations, then they're like, they've got their next guy. Skinner's the future between the pipes. I don't think they viewed him as that because they went out and gave Jack Campbell a 5-year contract.
Yeah.
It was 5, wasn't it? It was 5 years, I think.
5 years.
It was
5 by
years.
5.
They went and gave him a 5-year contract thinking that, okay, well, like I always thought Stuart Skinner could end up being an NHL goalie, but I never had him pegged as being a 55-game number one goalie in the National Hockey League when he was coming along, right? I didn't think that of him. And then all of a sudden, Campbell completely blows up and Skinner gets thrown right into the spotlight and automatically was at a position I wasn't sure he'd ever get to. Like I thought he might be a good 20, 25 game backup. He gets put in this spot where they had literally no other options. And that's a lot to handle. And the weird part is that his numbers have just sort of declined.
Yeah.
Which is probably the most frustrating part of the entire thing for the organization. His numbers when he came in were pretty damn good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I was looking at a video I did I did this video in Stuart Skinner's rookie year. And it was just so refreshing, man, because I feel like the Stuart Skinner that I saw then is not at all the Stuart Skinner that we've seen as of late. Like, not even close. Like, in this video, I'm just like, man, you know how nice it is to be an Oilers fan and to have a goalie where you're, like, very confident in every single night pretty well? And it just, I'm thinking about that, man. And that's why I asked the question to you. Like, was that a fluke year? Because that does happen. Was there, something else that happened? Is this just how it was always going to play out? I like to play out what if scenarios quite a bit, Dusty. What if?
We used to do a thing on
if Jack Campbell was
Nielsen show back in the day. What if Wednesday?
Oh.
Yeah, kind of run its course. And we don't like to really beat things to death or hang on to them long in the show. So
no, that's not us.
We decided to cut loose.
Yeah, no, that's crazy though. What do you guys think?
Here's an interesting text. This is from one of the guys that I mentioned is around the Lethbridge Hurricanes organization. Anyway, he's watching the show. He texts me. He goes, nice. I have it on good authority that the Oilers regime didn't think super highly of him a year or two after they drafted him. He says, you're right. He was pushed into the starter's role. Like, the Oilers were never looking at Stuart Skinner going, he's our guy. Yeah. You don't have to worry about these. Like, Skinner's our future number one guy. That was never the plan. It just all of a sudden had to be the case because they botched the Jack Campbell. Like, there's so many things as we sit here and look at another one of these big days.
Yeah.
You
start connecting the dots.
I would argue that the Oilers have missed on more of these big days than they've hit on since drafting Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Right? And that's
man.
why you probably don't have a Stanley Cup yet.
Yes.
But he's so insanely talented that he's still going to get you one somehow. Yeah. Like, that's what I still believe.
Yeah, man. That's like always going to, like, a video idea I've always thought about doing is, if Connor and Leon don't win the cup, they don't bring the cup back to Edmonton. Why are the reasons? And the thing is, there are so many reasons, Dusty. And that's why,
you could do a series on it.
That's the thing. Like, you cannot miss anymore. You're not at that point where, like, the first 2-3 years, maybe you can get by on, and obviously no GM's perfect. You're going to have misses. But the fact that you're over, and there's been some hits. They've done well. Ekholm's been great. Bouchard, drafting him was awesome. But you can't mess up anymore, man. And, you look behind the curtains even more and you're connecting the dots like what we're doing. Oh, the writing's been on the wall. This is apparently that text that you just read.
Yeah.
But why didn't the Oilers, and I'm sorry, going on a little bit of tangent here, but why didn't the Oilers draft Jesper Wallstedt? And I remember, I forget where I watched this video, but it was a video of Keith Gretzky saying, well, we have right now the best player in the AHL. We have the best player in the minors. And he was talking about Stuart Skinner. That's why we didn't draft him. It's like, really? Like you're that confident? And then, they just, I don't know, man. Like the communication, I don't know what it is, but it's just stuff like that. It's like, you can't miss anymore. You cannot afford to miss at all. So here's hoping. Jarry, I hope you're ready. Maybe.
Somebody said this reminds them of Eberle for Strome, where Eberle helped you get to the playoffs, didn't look good in the playoffs, and then was gone. But the Eberle for Strome standalone, I didn't have a problem with. The next step here would be Bowman trades Jarry for Peter Mrazek.
That's what it is.
Like that's the equivalent. That's what ends up happening here. Yeah. Like, that's what would have to happen for it to be completely comparable to going from Eberle to Strome, from Spooner to Spooner's out of the league later that season. Think about that. Think about how dumb that was. Like it just.
I'm still thinking about
that. That would be Skinner to Jarry to. Yeah, Mrazek. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought Mrazek, but Mrazek's actually probably pretty decent compared. Like that's what that would be.
David Riddick.
So it's no, Mrazek worse than Big Save Dave. Yeah, you can even try to make a case. At least his nickname's Big Save. Man. All right, 780-218-9999. We have EST afternoons coming up here in about 28 minutes. I know Hernan's got, I haven't chatted with him in a while, but they had one guest already booked out of Nashville, I think, and they're trying to get somebody from Pittsburgh to chat a bit. As well. Sean texts in and says, they can't miss anymore? Oh, they'll find a way.
Yeah,
but you can miss.
Yeah, that's true.
But you can't have,
but will they?
You can't have
probably
a miss that's detrimental to like the foundation of the team.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Mangiapane. Has he been a hit? Hasn't necessarily been a hit. Has he been a full-blown miss? Hasn't been a full-blown miss. But he's more of a than a hit.
Yeah.
But it's not killing you just yet, and it's not going to cut off one of your legs moving into, free agency or something along those lines with the cap going up.
And that's why, I'm not too mad about this because I don't think this is going to kill the Oilers. Like, you've gone to the back-to-back finals with this goalie. You've got a good sample size of what he can do. I truly believe this is Stuart Skinner. Like, I think for his whole career, he's going to be a pretty solid backup. So they've got
peak Stuart Skinner. What is? Yeah, I think he's like a 1B.
A 1B. Like, could he be a good, I think he could probably win the crease over again one day. But I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, he is a legit number one in the NHL. So I don't think that this is going to hurt the Oilers. I do not think this is going to be detrimental to the Oilers going forward because I do think Jarry is better. And getting rid of Kulak, I think they got the best years out of Kulak. I don't know. I can't see anything great, for his play in the future. And then as for the pick as well, it's not going to hurt them as much, right? I don't believe that. And, to the question,
they could have kept the pick and then at the draft had a good goalie fall in their lap and then trade it.
And see, that's the only thing. Yeah. Like, use it or use it for a package deal, something. Right? Like I'm not too keen that they gave it away, but I mean, they've done far worse before. And to the question out there and to the nasties, I ask you this as well. Are the Oilers better now? I mean, it's tough to answer that, but
I think first of all, we haven't even seen them yet. So it's, but I would say I would lean towards, yes, they are.
Yes, I would too.
Yeah.
So, and to everyone saying...
That doesn't mean we love the deal, but it means I think they've done enough. Well, my answer would be this. They damn well better be.
Yeah.
Right? And you better be better.
And then I go back to, they seem to go on stretches when something significant happens, which I've seen last year. Well, not last year, but obviously the year
Some
prior.
coaches changes and stuff like that. And
Yeah. So
here's I don't even know if I want to bring this up, but
then don't.
no,
Don't.
but what if
Don't
what if
say it?
What if we're sitting here going, man, the Oilers gave up 13 grade A chances last night and Jarry allowed 5 goals? Like, what if it isn't the goaltending? Right? This is the team looking at it and going, it's the goaltending, right? That's what this is.
Yeah.
This is Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson admitting that no matter how many times over the last 3-4 months, they're like, oh, we're fine with the goaltending. We're fine with the goaltending. This is them admitting, okay, it's our goalie's fault. But what if this trade is made and Tristan Jarry's sitting here with an 892 in 2 months and you're going, uh-oh, it wasn't the goalie's fault.
Yeah.
Like now we get that answer. Now we'll get to know. This is 2 goalies, same season, for the most part the same team. Let's find out if it was the team in front of them or if it was Stuart Skinner.
Yeah.
And Pickard for that matter this year.
I feel like you can fix team defense more than just one individual's play. Because I feel like this,
But I felt they had them done. That's why Skinner's numbers were better lately.
Yeah, well, that is
Right?
true. Yeah. So yeah, if the good defense continues, which I here's hoping, all signs are pointing towards it will. Yeah, that would suck a big one if his numbers did not reflect that. Oh gosh. What a day.
Andrew, the accountant, says, my only real issue is that we were told for over a year they won't make a lateral move in net, and they do exactly that and add 2 assets for a guy who was on waivers last year. I just don't know, man. Well, there's a story to be told here a couple years from now.
There is.
Right? And if it doesn't work, we're going to look back and go, and they traded for a guy and gave up assets for a guy and didn't get anything retained that was on waivers the year before. And that doesn't mean they could have afforded him, because they couldn't have. They didn't have the cap space. But that meant the team that you just gave up things to get this guy from didn't want anything for him.
Yeah.
They were ready to get rid of him for nothing. And now they just got a pick and probably another pick somewhere along the way. And hell, if somebody's starting goaltender gets injured, they might get a pick for Skinner if they want before the deadline, right? So there's 2 sort of stories here that get written by the time we get to the end of this McDavid contract, which is good. Ian texts in, and see, Ian, I get where you're coming from here, man. Ian texts in and says, Dusty, how can you still question the goalies? Yes, they haven't been great, but no, this team has killed goalies for decades, and they still have the same questions on D and team defense. You're not wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, I'm excited to see how the fans treat him. I'm excited to see, I don't know, just a fresh change. It'll be nice.
Skinner's local, and he still got treated like crap.
That's tough, man.
And apparently Jarry lives here in the summer too, and his wife's local.
How can he handle? Can he handle the pressure?
There's a big difference. There's a big difference going from a scrum or online in Pittsburgh to Edmonton.
Yeah. I was just looking at the game last night. I'm like, oh, look at Connor there in post game. You just see the mics, man. Like, it's crazy. There's like 20 mics just in his face, you know? It's way different, you know? Skinner, do you think it was ever, like, was it a pressure thing for Skinner? Was it a talent thing? I mean, we've kind of already talked on that a little bit, but I don't know. If his numbers do start getting better, I wonder how much he, you know, and maybe he'll say that, yeah, like it's nice. I can just focus on my game and not get criticized every second of every day.
LFC captain says Pittsburgh is going to trade Skinner to LA, and then LA will beat us in the first round. Oh, gosh. Could you imagine that? This text says, why isn't the defense ever beefed up? Well, they traded, like they got Wallman. Right, like that was their move on the blue line. They got Wallman and they signed him to a 7-year deal.
You got Ekholm. You got Emerson.
They have attempted to do that now, but it's always you still want one more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. They have to get another defenseman. It's the same thing over and over again.
I'll never forget the first time I locked eyes on Stuart Skinner.
Okay, tell me this story, buddy.
Well, it's a very short story.
You guys both teenagers?
He was a grade above me.
Okay.
Winston Churchill.
And same school.
Same school.
Okay.
Back when he was just It was weird. Like everyone, man, when this guy walked, people just
I didn't know you went to high school with Skinner.
for 1 year, for one semester.
You never told me that in 2.5 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like it was a good time to bring it up now.
I guess.
But he was actually in my brother's class.
Okay.
And he was a nice guy.
And he'd already been drafted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or no, like he was playing for the Hurricanes. Then,
Okay,
so
okay.
he had yet to, that was right before he got traded to
Swift?
Swift, yes.
Okay.
But yeah, like a cool guy. I remember he'd always, like my brother would tell me, oh, Stuart Skinner, he's always asking for my notes again. He's always asking for my notes.
Skinner was asking for your brother's notes in school?
In class.
No.
I was like, okay, I'll give him my notes. So my brother was like, I gave Stuart Skinner my notes. It was pretty cool. I'm like, oh, that is cool. I'm like, yeah, like he plays for the Hurricanes. It's the craziest thing ever. He's like, yeah, he does. And he asked for my notes. How cool is that? So yeah, and I was like, man, it took me forever to hit puberty. I was in grade 9. I was just the smallest kid. I was like 5'2". And he was
No,
like,
you weren't.
I'm not, no, I was probably like 5'4".
Marshall's 5'3".
Dude, I'll show
He's
you.
in grade 5. Are
I'll
you
show
serious?
you a video after this. It was me in grade 9. I was like 70 pounds. I was the smallest kid ever, man. I didn't grow until grade 12.
You were 70 pounds in grade 9?
Yeah.
No.
Yes. I'm telling you, man. I was skin and bone.
So
I
you're
was
basically... So Marshall
Yes.
right now
Yeah, that's why
is
it blows my mind.
you in grade 8.
That's why I quit hockey at an early age, man. I just got
Holy
as soon
smokes.
as hitting start.
And now look at this mustache you have. My goodness.
I know, and it was weird. Skin and bones. Always had the mustache.
So everything in your body that would usually go into growing bones just went into the stash.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay,
absolutely.
anyway. So when do you meet...
So it's nothing crazy. Never talked to him, but I just remember the one day, like he just, who was it? Moses that parted the water in the Bible, something like that. But all of a sudden you just hear, oh, there's Stuart Skinner. There he is. And then he's coming, he's just like, he doesn't really have any cockiness to him. He's always been like just a good guy. Like that was always how he was, from all the stories I heard from friends growing up with him. And, but yeah, just like a, casual, he's just walking, minding his business. And it was kind of like everyone's parting ways. And then, and it's funny. He's only a year taller or a year older than me, but he's just so much more developed. He's already got the mustache. He's got 100 pounds on me. He's 6'2". And and then all of a sudden he's just walking and then people are parting. I'm like, what's going on? I look, I'm like, Skinner's like walking. I'm like, excuse me, Stuart Skinner. He's like, oh, no worries. But just like smiling, just going about his day. And it was just like my jaw dropped, man. I'm like, that's a man right there.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy's only a year older than me.
That's a man right there.
Not even that, yeah.
He's a year older than you.
Yeah, they got 100 pounds on
You're the runt of the litter. Yeah. My God, man.
Yeah, so
I don't know
that's
how you
nice.
never told that. I love this duck dad over the chat says next week Trev's going to be like, so I spent a week backpacking in the Alps with the moose. Hey, you hear about Mark Messier? Yeah. I went to Europe with Messier
It's
one
funny
year.
you say that, actually. No, but no, that honest to God is a true story. I always talk about it with my brother, and I just was blown away. But yeah,
Funny.
I just wanted to share that with the
Kaiser texts in. Says, I went to school with Skinner in junior high and high school. I remember one story my brother told me in a science class. The teacher told Skinner he has to try harder. And his response was, I don't need any of this. I'm going to be in the NHL.
Yeah.
I have two similar stories to that. And in Cranbrook in high school, when the Kootenay Ice came, I was in high school with a bunch of those guys. And BJ Boxma was the goalie of the, I told this story back on 1260, I think. Because Boxma was actually listening at the time on the radio and texted in. He goes, that's me.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it was funny. Anyway, so we're sitting in class and it was a math class and we're sitting there and I can't remember the teacher's name, Mr. Johnson, maybe. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He's sitting there and he asks BJ a question and BJ's sitting there and he's staring at him. And we all know it. We knew him. We're like, he's not a smart kid. Like,
Yeah.
And BJ just looks at him and goes, I'm the goalie. And that was it. And the whole class just erupted. We're like, oh my God. And then
The goalie.
the best one, though, Kyle Wanvig.
Nice.
Wanvig was in our high school social studies class. And we were taking like the final test or something like that. And we're sitting down. You're like, you have 1 hour to write this exam. So I'm like, got my pencil. I'm like, okay, let's go. We got an hour. I'm going to be jamming through it. 6 minutes. 6 minutes into this thing, Wanvig gets up, takes his test, walks to the front of the class, dumps it on the teacher's desk and goes, I don't need this. I'm going to play in the NHL. And then he walked out and we were like, damn. And then he
That's the coolest guy
He
ever.
did play in the NHL, but pretty briefly, I think, with Wanvig. He was a big, lanky kid.
This was
Pretty good player on the
Cranbrook?
Kootenay ice. It was Kyle Wanvig was his name.
cool, man.
I think he coaches girls hockey now somewhere, like maybe in Calgary. Anyway, yeah, he went on. He played 75 games. But he was drafted twice. He was drafted in the third round that year in 99. We were in high school. And then
Class of 99?
yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
And then he got drafted again by Minnesota in 2001 because he didn't sign.
Okay.
So
That's
yeah.
cool, man. Imagine
Yeah,
having,
when he got up and went and just I dropped it with swag too, just like, I don't need to do this. I'm going to the NHL, and walked out. And I was like, I have to do it. I'm going to try to get into Lethbridge Community College. That's a tough look.
You get up? Who am I kidding?
Yeah. I don't need to do this either. I'm going to stay and live with my parents.
That's so good.
Oh, that was good. Kootenay Time Tim texted us as Kootenay Isaac. Dusty, God, I miss those Cranbrook days. What a story. Yeah, they were both, those Poop Stain says, I know boxing, but we played senior hockey in the same league. Yeah, those are two funny days. I won't forget those days, man. That was too good.
You stand up, Dusty, sit down.
Yeah. Dustin, sit down. And I was a better student. I was definitely smarter than Wanvig was. Like, yeah, that was, so that's funny here, that Skinner High School story. I mean, these guys obviously operate on a bit of a different level, I think.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, let's see here. If the Oilers get bounced in the first round, they've got no choice than other than trading again. You know what? That's kind of interesting because they bring in interest in Jarry. If they lose in the first or second round of the playoffs this year, people are going to be, I might even say it myself, I go, they got further with Skinner. Right? It's a different team. It's going to be it's going to be a little bit of a different team, I think, still.
Yeah.
Than what we're seeing so far. But like the only way you can really sort of one up things right now is to go win the Stanley Cup if you're Tristan Jarry.
Yeah. I mean, with Skinner this year, I wasn't really expecting them to go to the final anyway. No. Like, I think it is a lesser team.
I still think if this team can get to the conference final, I'd be like, pretty good season. Because this was the year I thought, reset year, 2 cup runs. And I guess they got their goalie for what they hope to be the next 2 cup runs. So it has kind of been a bit of a reset year so far, I think.
Yeah. But it'll be, time will only tell. This is crazy. I knew I was on the oil stream today, but I was getting ready to talk about Olympics.
We don't need to do that today. No, the Oilers provided us with a banger day today.
Save that for another time.
Kurt on a grader says, I'm excited to see how Jarry reacts first time Boosh pukes up a puck in front of the net.
Does he have a little bit of bite in him?
Unless that stuff stops, none of this is going to get better. No, I'll tell you this. He'll handle it better than Binnington would have. Binnington probably would have taken Bouchard hostage after a month.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that's handling better. I think that would be great. Like if he
not at Binnington's level, put me somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you want to see Binnington.
It would have been awesome to see how Mike Smith would have handled that. A boosh cough up like the one we saw the other night. Hey,
it's Mike Smith.
Yeah. How fun would that have been?
That would have been something. That would have been something, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Big day for the Edmonton Oilers. Hopefully for them and for all your sake, all you listening, all you listeners and viewers and fans, hopefully it works out for them as well. Jamming 33 says Binnington would have broke Bouchard's legs on that one.
I would have liked that.
Barbershop Window says Jarry played with Letang and Carlson. I think he's seen it before.
He knows what he's getting.
Valid point, actually. That hasn't been brought up just yet. 83 Runner says, would Boosh even know why he's getting yelled at?
What?
Hi, I'm Evan.
You must be the new goalie. I've heard lots about you, Evan.
All right, keep those things coming in. Rip City Step has a list in his phone of things, players, coaches, and things that YouTube Trev hates. Did you see this?
No.
Stuart Skinner, when he's not playing awesome, is crossed off now.
Oh, well, there we go. Yeah.
Also on there, Wayne Gretzky, Trey Ford, Knobloch, McDavid and Draisaitl when they play together, Strummy, the current generation of SNL. Do you hate the current generation of SNL?
I think well, it's definitely not what it used to be. It's
Joy in Hernan's eyes. That's probably for when you lied to him. We'll put him on the soccer team.
This is rubbish.
The Irish.
The Irish? What the heck does that mean?
People doubting Ike Howard.
Yeah.
Insurance payments.
That one should be okay.
Happy Gilmore 2.
Oh, gosh.
See, so I think this is an accurate list.
Yeah, what the
I think
heck?
you're just forgetting about the other ones.
Wayne Gretzky. When have I had beef with Gretzky?
Kapanen at 1.3 mil.
Yeah, not a fan. Still
See,
not.
so this is a good list. Players, coaches, and things that YouTube Trev hates.
What was
What'd you say today? Didn't you say? Oh no, you said you love. You either really love something or you hate it.
I can't
Yeah,
stand
there's
it.
no
There's no
middleman.
man.
Hey, let's go to a guy who decided he was going to mess with the SD voting file on his own. Ice Cube.
Well, I was the one who created the file actually originally, so I could probably, turn off any editing processes for
Privileges now. Is that
anybody
what we're
here.
doing here?
Anybody here, but I'm not going to do that. I don't have the power to veto the CEO of Edmonton Sports Talk, so I can't even do that in a Google Doc file.
Good answer, Zach.
Yes.
Well, what's coming up?
No
What do you
complaints.
think of this trade, Coob?
I mean, it kind of caught me off guard. I was in Nisku calling a hockey game this morning, and I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
the
that's
trade
why you
broke.
weren't in on the Christmas draft.
That's why I wasn't in on the Christmas draft.
Yeah.
I would have been.
Yeah.
But I mean, it comes to me as a surprise. It was in the news for a long time, and people said that they knew the trade was going to come through, and it didn't happen the day that some people might have said it happened, but they made a trade for a goaltender, and that's what fans have been asking for quite a long time now. To see Stuart Skinner and Brett Kulak was a surprising one for me to go the other way.
Yeah.
Tristan Jarry coming to the Oilers isn't as big of a surprise. I mean, they needed to make the cap room work and to pick up Sam Poulin and then make the other trade as well for this Spencer Stastny guy from the Nashville Predators. I think it's a solid move. Bring him back home. I wasn't fully aware that he lived here in the offseason, did Jarry.
Yeah.
And reunite him with a former teammate of his, Curtis Lazar.
Oh, Curtis Lazar. Yeah, there you go.
Good point.
Oh, that's good.
I have a t-shirt jersey of Tristan Jarry.
Do
And I
you?
was just telling Maddie earlier.
Do you find
I
it
was like,
thrifting?
No, I got it. Caught it at a game actually. When
So
I
it's
was
original.
Yeah, a little 8-year-old Coob. Never would have thought. Yeah, Tristan
You would
Jarry.
have been cute as a little kid, Coob. I'm not
Yeah,
going to lie.
I was a little tubby fella.
Were you?
Yeah, I got the chubby,
man.
rosy cheeks.
Oh,
like
squeeze
my
those
grandma would be.
cheeks.
Oh,
So we were just
come over."
polar opposites.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the skinny guy. I was. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I want to get to this. This guy tweeted at me. He goes, Dusty, I can't believe this happened on the 14th anniversary of the Ricky Ray trade. Ricky Ray was also traded on December 12th. Can you
way.
believe that?
No way,
man.
Ricky Ray.
December 12th, 2001, I guess.
Damn.
Gee.
I remember going on the air that day. That happened too. People were absolutely furious. My God. I think that's I know Mike Riley brought them back to a title, but that Ricky Ray trade is really where things started to fall apart.
That's when it started.
Yeah, but they got through it. Like Mike Riley was good, the first incarnation of Chris Jones and stuff, but that's kind of when they started to fall apart. What's coming up in EST Afternoon, Scoop? What do we got?
Oh, tons. Hernan and Gager will, of course, go over all the trades, share their take or two on that. And we also get some insight on the guys coming to Edmonton. We'll check in with Taylor Hayes from DK Pittsburgh Sports to get all the insight on Jarry, and we'll head down to Nashville as well to get some insight on Spencer Stastny.
Okay, so the boys have two guests lined up, one from Pittsburgh, one from Nashville. You don't want to go anywhere else. We've got you covered. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, a small dose of Whale and the Wolf, and then boom, right into EST Afternoons. If you're watching on YouTube, turn on autoplay. And that'll take you right over. The next show will start right away. And we're going to have you covered for the rest of the day. Reed Wilkins' show still to come a little bit later on. The oil stream has been brought to you by Boston Pizza. Trev, good job today, my man.
Thank you, Dusty. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. And I cannot wait to party with you tomorrow.
Tonight.
Let's go.
Tonight's the staff party. Oh, my God. We're going to bowl so hard. Can't wait. It's going to be a good time. For Jamie McLennan, who joined us from a plane again. Awesome. Tommy Gazzola hopping on as well. Special 2-hour Stuart Skinner trade of the oil stream. EST Afternoons continues next. For Trev, I'm Dusty. Thank you very much for watching. Don't go anywhere. Turn on that autoplay. The boys, I can't wait to hear what Gager has to say, actually. I cannot wait to hear what Gager has to say from a goaltending perspective about these trades. That's coming up next. Take it easy.